Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. BNB spoilers, Thomas and Hope break the bad news to Douglas. Say goodbye to mommy and hello to France. On the March 28th episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers preview that Hope and Thomas have a hard conversation with Douglas about their relationship. They also deliver the surprising news that Thomas is going to Paris and bringing Douglas with him. Behind the scenes, Steffi relishes her victory in ripping Hope and Thomas apart. This is sure to be a heartbreaking and emotional day. Thomas Matthew Atkinson hasn't wasted any time taking Steffi's Jacqueline McInnes Wood advice about Hope Annika Noel. He didn't even mull it over for a day or two. Thomas's heartbreak has landed him in a very reactive state and he is not thinking things through. Steffi also gave quite a convincing earful about how Hope wronged him. Though Hope did her best to express her love and appreciation to Thomas, maybe it came across as too little, too late. Thomas stunned Hope and told her he was leaving for Paris. Moreover, he is taking Douglas Henry Joseph Samurai with him. Talk about a 1-2 punch for Hope. She barely has time to process losing her love when she has to come to terms with saying goodbye to her son as well. This must all be very confusing and upsetting for poor Douglas. He was so elated to see his parents together. Remember when he cooked them a romantic dinner of pizza and French fries? Douglas is very mature for his age, but this is asking a lot for him to handle. If Thomas were really in his right mind, he might think twice about whisking Douglas away from his happy home and so far away from his mother. If Douglas doesn't show his fear and sadness, you can be sure he feels it inside. Steffi sure didn't think about how this would affect young Douglas. All she seems to care about is reigning victorious over Hope. She thinks she has succeeded and nothing could please her more. Is this display of manipulation taking her mind off of her own problems perhaps? Despite killing Sheila Kimberlin Brown and not facing any legal consequences, she didn't really feel in control of that situation. She also couldn't control Finn's Tanner Novlan's sudden affection for his biological mom after death. At least Steffi can take charge of her brother and destroy her rival, which seems to make her feel better. But is this really the end for Hope and Thomas, and is Hope going to let Steffi ruin her life without some pushback? Stay tuned. The best place for true soap fans to be is our Facebook groups. Have you joined? If you love soap spoilers, gossip, and fans as dedicated as yourself, check out Days of Our Lives fans, General Hospital exclusive, The Young and the Restless fans, and The Bold and the Beautiful fans. Title: The Tender Heartbreak. Thomas and Hope navigate the tough conversation with Douglas. In the serene ambience of the Forrester Creations mansion, where warmth seemed to emanate from every corner, Thomas Forrester and Hope Logan found themselves facing one of the most daunting challenges of their lives. With a heavy heart and a shared sense of responsibility, they had to approach Douglas Forrester, the young and impressionable son of the late Caroline Spencer. The task at hand was to break the news to him about the tragic loss of his beloved mother. As they sat side by side on the plush couch in the living room, Thomas and Hope exchanged solemn glances, silently steeling themselves for the emotional storm that was about to unfold. Douglas, unaware of the gravity of the conversation that awaited him, played with his toys nearby, his innocent laughter filling the room with a bittersweet melody. "Are you ready for this?" Hope whispered softly, her voice tinged with apprehension. Thomas nodded, his gaze fixed on his son, whose radiant smile seemed to momentarily ease the weight on his shoulders. "As ready as I'll ever be," he replied, his voice tinged with a mixture of sorrow and determination. Taking a deep breath, Hope reached out and gently touched Thomas's hand, offering him a silent gesture of support. With a nod of gratitude, Thomas turned his attention back to Douglas, his heart constricting with the knowledge of the pain that awaited the young boy. "Douglas," Thomas began, his voice trembling slightly as he struggled to find the right words. "There's something we need to talk to you about, something very important." Douglas looked up from his toys, his bright eyes reflecting a curious innocence as he sensed the seriousness in his father's tone. "What is it, Daddy?" he asked, his voice tinged with a hint of uncertainty. Thomas swallowed hard, his throat tightening with emotion as he searched for the courage to continue. "It's about your mommy, Douglas," he said gently, his heart breaking at the thought of shattering his son's world with the harsh truth. Hope reached out and took Douglas's hand in hers, offering him a reassuring squeeze as she spoke with a tenderness born of empathy. "Sweetheart, your mommy, she's not here anymore," she said softly, her voice trembling with emotion. For a moment, Douglas seemed to freeze, his young mind struggling to comprehend the gravity of what he had just heard. Then, as the reality of the situation began to sink in, his bottom lip quivered, and tears welled up in his eyes. "Not here anymore," he whispered, his voice barely above a whisper as he looked up at Thomas and Hope with a mixture of confusion and disbelief. And as the sun set outside, casting a warm glow over the tranquil landscape, Thomas, Hope, and Douglas took their first tentative steps forward, embarking on a journey of healing and renewal that would ultimately lead them to a place of peace and acceptance.